Ridiculousness and welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie. I know you saw the title of today's video. Guys, it looks like those rumors about Amber Heard and those embryos with Elon Musk are true. We're getting confirmations about it, as well as apparently Elon has ties to Epstein with all of this. So does Amber Heard. Guys, this video is gonna get crazy, so get your popcorn, get your tea, strap in, and let your girl take you on a ride. I feel like that sounds kind of weird, but I didn't realize it until it came out. That's what she said. I love that's what she said, jokes. So anyways, guys, if you're new here, hi, how are you? My name's Katie on this channel. I cover all the trending stuff in the news, so if you want to giggle along with me at all this stuff, because rarely do we hear about Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine, a plane, an island, or a little black book, but we hear nothing about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and now my dreams have come true. All of the worlds are merging as I like, and I'm gonna break it down for you in every way I can. If you like content and you want to laugh along at how stupid this all is, make sure and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Would love to have you. Now I'm gonna start out with a little bit of a rant because we're gonna talk about SA. We're gonna talk about people who will be mean to other people as a result of wanting intimacy. Please infer, oh, I have to do a lot of stupid roundabout talking, and trust me, I'm a Gemini, I'm all about direct communication. I absolutely hate it. You know how to irritate me? Okay, former friend does this, drives me nuts. Don't be direct with me and speak to me in riddles. Now, it's not that I'm not smart enough, I'm intelligent enough, I'll understand what you're saying, I'll dissect it, I'll figure it out. But what a waste of energy. For somebody like me, when I deal with people, I have to have my intuition up and scanning all the time as it is for a-holes, right? And that's exhausting. And you have to deal with people out in the real world, and it gets real peoply out there, right? Walmart. God love Walmart. Walmart gets real peoply. But yeah, so I am all about let's be direct. I forgot where I was going with that. One thing before we start. So I have to point this out. Love this dress. I know it barely fits here. We're talking barely, but fall is coming and I'm kind of sad. Summer's my favorite time of everything. And I'm sad because fall is coming and I won't be able to wear my little floral dresses. So I'm trying to get as many floral dresses in as I can before I feel like I have to put them away. I mean, it's my channel, I can do whatever I want, right? And I will, but I don't know. I probably will put them away as it gets colder. And I have so many sweater dresses. Y'all have seen a lot of my sweater dresses. So I'm sweater dressed out. But one other thing I wanted to point out, I've had this in my comments quite a bit. I've had a lot of people be upset that my chesticles are out. Let's talk about the girls for a second. I don't like talking about the girl. I don't really talk about my body that much, right? But I've had so many comments. When I say so many, it's not like hundreds. I'm not that popular right now on YouTube. Maybe I'll get there. Not that I'm wanting hundreds of comments on that, but I do think it's interesting. There's a lot of comments of cover up, do this and do that. And you know what? It makes me feel like very facetious. Like when you do that, it makes me want to put them out even more. And you guys know who follow me. This is not intentional. It's because I got sick and now my body has changed, so things don't quite fit right, and I just can't afford to take my 500 articles of clothing and go get everything tailored right now. Nor do I care. Also, my body is still changing, right? So I'm trying to figure out what fits. But here's the thing. I think it's funny because I'm just like, so because you chose to sexualize me and my body, I need to change for you and your ideals. It literally makes me just want to run around without any clothes on. Not that I'm going to do it, but that's what it makes me want to do, because you know what? My body doesn't need to be sexualized just because that's something that you want to do in your unevolved mental state. And when I say that, I'm not saying that having intimate feelings is unevolved. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying if you find me in any way attractive that that's a bad thing. I'm always flattered when people do. Because when somebody, oh my gosh, this is getting so bad. This stress. When somebody finds me attractive, what does that mean? They're saying that you have attributes that I think are so wonderful that I want to share my DNA with you and create something from that. Like, that's beautiful. I ain't mad at that. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at my monitor if this is bad. But like, anyways, you know what? But having this be this bad today proves my point. I can wear whatever I want. Within reason on YouTube, I can say whatever I want. I mean, technically, I can as a person in this society. And, yeah, quit sexualizing my body and then telling me what to do with it, because you don't have the mental fortitude to be able to deal with what my body's going through or how I choose to present. And it's not even that I'm choosing to present this way, it's that my body is going through things, and that happens. Had to throw that out there. Now, let's dive into this. I know, I'm sorry, it's a little bit of an intro, but these were some things I felt called to say, and you're gonna see me tug at this. I need to just get my computer in front of me. But I also don't care. If it bothers you, go somewhere else. On this channel, I'm all about forgiveness and health and healing and love and making our lives the best that they can be. And in that, there is a transition. My body is in transition. You don't like it, I understand, go somewhere else. But I love you guys. Okay, so let's talk. You guys remember Jessica Krause and her Substack. Homegirl is back and she's got explosive things on everyone. I so stan Jessica at this point, and we're gonna dive into it. This is gonna be a little bit of a longer video, but I also put up a couple longer videos and y'all seem to like it. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do that instead of, several small ones or something. I'm still kind of trying to figure out the format of what I'm doing. So let's dive in and I'm gonna show you guys how this works. Hold on, let's play the game. Will my mic work? I don't know. It's a weird musical when you guys aren't around, where I'm just like talking and singing to myself all the time. What was that song? Walking by myself. Remember? Oh, it was a remix. Pooped Your Pants. Remember? Does anybody remember this from like 10 years ago? Come on, everybody, do the Dookie dance. I'm so old. Anyway, this is from House in Habit. Y'all, this is so good. You're gonna love this. And apparently those embryos are real. That was fought over in court by Elon and he lost. So I'm assuming Una Page, when we've all thought that that's probably Elon's kid, but it most likely is. Let's look at this. This is from Jessica Krause, Substack, House and Habit. Elon on defense. And it says, spotlight on tired tactics. A lot of pulling this up. I don't think it's working. Says, for those new here, I feel the need to clarify that I am not and never have been an anti-Elon Musk critic. Quite the opposite. Actually, I'm a longtime fan. I've always appreciated his humor and have often aligned with many of his outspoken political points, especially in an era of growing censorship. So you can imagine this whole trial dive has been a rude awakening, having to question everything about somebody I not only like, but I respect. You know what? I actually feel the same way. I love his Twitter. I think he's funny. I feel like even though we know he has a ton of money, he's more one of the people, right? And he comes from that mentality. But we have to remember, he is also uber wealthy. Well, and see, I'm going to give you guys some perspective you might not hear everywhere else about it, because most people are going to see what I'm going to show you and they're just going to be really mad at the situation, and it's just going to be all rich people are awful. Now, I'm not saying Elon is or isn't. That's not for me to say. I don't know him. But I will say is, when you're a player at that level with that much money, you are surrounded by evil. So it would be impossible to think he's avoided any of it. I think he's probably had to walk the lines of trying to still have the mentality or still on some level be-ish one of the people. I mean, I think he came from some amounts of wealth to an extent, so who knows if that's ever really necessarily been him. But I think he has to straddle that line of having to deal with all these evil people in the areas he's in, right? Versus also stay true to his vision. So I don't know. I think I've always kind of thought maybe he's more of a chaotic neutral. Maybe he's trying to do some good, some chaotic good, like wanting to go to Mars and all of that. I gotta tell you right now, you guys know, like, if you were to ask what's my deepest passion, bringing positive aliens back to this planet. No joke. I literally feel like they are our ancestors. They are our brothers and sisters. Again, positive. If you're an a-hole, no matter if you're human or alien, stay away from me, right? But that's one of my biggest passions. It's weird. I have a passion that I can never fully achieve. Like, I don't have a spaceship. I don't have a laboratory. I can go create stuff, right? But again, one day you guys you'll really get to know how weird I am. Where was I going with that? I feel like everything in my life reverts back to aliens. Oh, so I understand his drive for wanting to go, be interstellar, because I have that in different ways. So I'm going to give you guys some perspectives on this. You might not hear at other places, but I'm also somebody who's dealt with celebrities and people with extreme wealth and stuff, so I have a little bit of a different take on it. By the way, a lot of these people are evil and they're a-holes. I'm not suggesting otherwise. So please don't think I'm defending anybody. I'm just giving different perspectives. So it says, yet here we are, dissecting him regularly these days. Billionaire stories usually bore me, but they are weird enough to keep headlines spinning. And you know what? That's the sad thing. The media works with these psychopaths. And a lot of times these psychopaths own the media. Or the psychopaths that own the psychopaths own the media. So, like, I always think it's funny that's the other thing. The media is constantly railing on Elon, which makes me trust him more. See, a lot of people don't understand. There were a lot of people that voted for Trump simply because the media hated him. And there are a lot of people like me. By the way, I didn't vote. Not that it's anybody's business. I didn't like anybody, right? But when it comes to that sort of thing, when it comes to somebody like Trump, I think a lot of people voted for him simply because they know the media are liars. And if you're going after somebody that hard, and you're a horrible person, you're gonna be more sympathetic to the person who has a target on their back, regardless of who they are. And I've always thought that's part of why he ended up winning, is my opinion. So I feel like I have a similar thing with Elon, where for me at least, when I constantly see the psychopaths try to rail after him, it makes me think maybe he's not that bad. Does that make sense? So when I see there's a lot of there's always boring headlines, right, about Bezos or about Gates, and how evil are those people? And we know the answer to that. So why are you protecting those people, but Elon bad? I'm just throwing it out there. So it says, sources I spoke to about Musk had mostly similar insight to share. They all agree that he's fantastic one-on-one, talking about his work or his visions, but a literal disaster in any social setting. One source described him in his work environment as chatty. This is why we know as much as we do. The man likes to gossip. Well, I think he likes to socialize. I think he likes to have fun, but he might, it might not just be his strong suit, right? I'm trying to think, are there things I like I'm not good at? I feel like that's a lot of things. But then, that's the other thing. The things I'm really passionate about, I get good at because I want to know what I'm doing and I want to be good at what I do. Anyway, near the end of the Depp Heard trial, another mystery source sent me an email claiming to have inside information on Elon and the rumored embryos. Here we go, guys. A fact I had long confirmed thanks to two sources who worked at the fertility clinic in LA. But I'm never one to turn down a new connection. So listen to this. She had two sources who worked at a fertility clinic in LA who confirmed this was all real. So at least per Jessica, and so far when Jessica speaks, we end up seeing evidence to back it up. This bodes well. And it says, during our 2-hour call, the woman was candid but cautious in the information she offered, noticeably guarded when it came to details about her family, who have been financially connected to the Musks for well over a decade. The two families, she explained, are close, outside of business dealings as well. The point of the phone call? To let me know I was on the right track. She was quick to validate my observations about the distractions and the deflections, the embryos as main defense tactics whenever he comes under fire. So is it possible that Una Page is not his? However, she has those embryos and just hangs them over his head. Or is Una real? Well, when I say that's another thing though. I mean, we'll get into this, but a lot of people have said that Una Page is a rented baby or somebody who might be sold. Please infer. Not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying when you're dealing with these uber rich people, they do things like this. I mean, we know from Jeff, right? Jeff and Ghislaine, selling people is their forte. So gross. Women, children, they do it to men too. Everybody. So it says, the purchase of Twitter right before the trial, probably not coincidental. The fired up tweets about the overlooked little black Epstein book, right when people who are intimately not nice to you, claims against him were starting to surface, probably not so genuine. Here we go. This is from Fox News. It says, Elon Musk asks a question millions want answered about Epstein and the DOJ. And you can see it. It says, Elon Musk asks why leaking DOJ won't spill Epstein client list. Doesn't seem to make sense. Well, it does when you realize that all of these people are in bed together. You think these higher forms of government don't know about people being sold? Why don't they go after that more? We literally have modern day slavery of all races, of all people. More so women and children, but again, it happens to men too. And nobody says a word. Yet these same people try to get all of us to fight against one another about minority issues that the media and the psychopaths never fix, never want fixed. They don't want things better for minorities or the disabled or veterans or the poor. They just want us all fighting each other. They want us to blame each other on what's going on so we don't band together and blame them. By the way, I know I'm Caucasian. I'm not trying to speak on behalf of minorities or anything, but I do get really angry because I watch the media on both sides, especially the left, and they use minority issues and they don't ever actually do anything to fix it or help minorities. They just literally use it to just get people riled up. And these are issues that we should not just be talking about, which I'm glad we are, but we should be fixing because all people deserve to have a beautiful, healthy life. Makes me furious. So just this, they put us in this caste and class systems, right? And granted, the fact that so many people, so many Caucasian people went along with it. Now, I can say as a Caucasian person, we didn't know. Well, many of us, maybe some did. I didn't know this stuff until I studied stimulus. It was when I studied stimulus that I went, oh, wait a minute. Legally, people could not allow minorities to own homes and homeowner associations. Like, that blew my mind when I understood that was like 10 years ago. That was okay. So you can't create generational wealth. I can go off on tangents. You know you, girl. It says, once you start paying attention to this cycle, you see how rudimentary his responses to all of these scandals are. It's so basic. He either confronts conflict with jokes or downplays them with sarcasm and memes. Now, granted, guys, I do that in general, like all the time. I always use humor as everything, So when I'm sad, this is what I do to get my mood up. When I'm trying to distract from something, when, I'm uncomfortable, I use humor I'm one of those people that, and this can look really inappropriate, if somebody next to me were to get hurt, my first reaction sometimes might be to laugh. And it's not because I think it's funny. It's literally like it's almost like, how do you put that? Like a knee-jerk response to something bad just happened. I'm uplifting and transmuting the energy quickly. Does that make sense? It's not like I'm getting off. It's not like I'm like, yay, somebody's hurt. So, or for instance, like, okay, I'm going to use a really funny reference. So I am not a person that watches like Real Housewives of. I did like the Erica Jane stuff just because I thought that was a really interesting thing, but like stress. I'm going to wait to wear this dress next time. It was fine, looked fine in the mirror. Anyway, so, but when I was younger, like what was it? The Real Housewives of Atlanta first came out. My sister was into stuff like that. She liked a lot of more mainstream stuff. And so I got into it with her. What was my point in that? There was a whole point. Oh, do you guys, and then the other one was Real Housewives of New Jersey. Do you guys, anybody who's ever watched that? And I don't now. Like I said, the only thing I kept up with was the Erica Jane scandal that's happened, just because that's all business, and I find that fascinating. By the way, no disrespect. If that's what you like what you like, right? It's just, I typically don't like a lot of, older boomer women, Caucasian boomer women with lots of money making issues over nothing. Just not my thing, or all that gossip and stuff, right? But I had a sibling who got me into it, and you guys remember on the New Jersey one where Teresa flipped the table? And do you remember that one? Who was it? She got the short hair, and she's kind of like the matriarch of the family, and she don't take crap. I like them all, right? She ran back and was just dying laughing as like these incidents that were happening where people are kind of being physically not nice, right? And she had to explain. She's like, it's not because I think it's funny. This is just a natural reaction I have. And I mean, sometimes it can come from immaturity. I think sometimes it can come from, there are psychopaths who think it's funny, right? But most of the time, those psychopaths, those sociopaths, those narcissists, many times they have an obsession with image. So they're not going to laugh like that. But I also think for some people, it's like a knee-jerk reaction to trying to transmute and uplift a negative energy or process it, which is what happens to me. Anyways, that's just my thing on saying, well, just because he deflects in humor doesn't necessarily mean he's like, oh, don't look at the truth. That's all I'm saying. I'm putting that out there. And it says, he either confronts conflict with jokes or downplays them with sarcasm and memes. His strategy at this point is painfully predictable, and for a brilliant man, he manages to get caught in a ton of lies. But I'll admit, he's still funny. He's a little bit of a comedian. I do like him for that aspect. From one comedian to another, I can appreciate. Since declaring himself a Republican, he plays the political card now more than ever. But even that's a ploy to discredit critics and incoming accusations. He also stated recently that for the first time in his life he was going to vote Republican. But then Trump came out revealing that Musk told him when they met that he voted for him. In coded phrases, the woman explained that her family was having to cut long-standing ties with the Musks because of the things they had seen involving Elon and his hidden interests. I did not ask or want the details of said interests, but I understood what she was hinting at. So, and I'm sure you guys understand what they're hinting at too, right? Well, that's another thing though. Like, I wonder who these people are that have ties with the Musks where they need to distance themselves, because I would assume if you have ties with the Musks, somewhere within your family line or lineage, there is some money involved. So you would think if there's money involved, then some of this would be more par for the course, I guess, or more standard, because we know what these rich psychopaths do. And it says, Nat, I found a tiny radish once, prance. I like that. I found a tiny radish once. But that's the thing, aren't radishes typically tiny? It says, I remember the article by Justine Musk, where she talked about Musk pressuring her to do IVF, which resulted in giving birth to twins and triplets in the span of 2 years. It's blanked up. He constantly whines about his own dad, but he's clearly not much better. I can't say that because his own dad, his dad got with his stepdaughter, right? Isn't that what that was? Now, and Elon Musk was all about procreation and stuff. So like, you can't, that type of thing is more, in my opinion, the P word. P and a red and a Tory, right? Please infer. That's got more of that connotation. Well, not even connotation. To me, that's more what that is. You raise that child and then do that. And I'm not going to say too much, but I've had some similar experiences myself in my family, which is just disgusting. Fun side note, when the person that does that stuff decides to speak up in front of people, and then you are the victim of that and you talk about it, a lot of times the family will ostracize you. I've been through that. But so anyways, I would say if you're doing it within, that sort of situation, it's way more P word, right? Where with Elon, if that's just what he wants to do, or that's his thing, regardless of whether or not if it comes from some weird intimacy thing he likes, well, as long as you have the money to take care of everybody, like, we can sit here and we can argue responsibility all day, every day. And look, I'm not saying you should go just have a bunch of kids just because. Like, I think that's, my opinion, that's irresponsible, because you don't just have children to have children. You also have to raise them and cultivate them, right? And that goes, but then again, that's my concept on building a better society. But if this is a guy who's trying to talk about building society and wants to go build society on other planets, do you see what I'm saying? Like, when we want to cultivate the best society, unless you're not doing it for good means, unless it's nefarious. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. So it says she talked about Musk pressuring her to do IVF. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody should be pressured to do something they don't want to do when it comes to intimacy or health of your body or creating life. I do agree with that, but I don't think we can't compare it to Errol, in my opinion, unless more information comes out we don't know. And then somebody says, Elon Musk's father has a baby with his stepdaughter he met before she was even 4 years old. Exactly. That's P word, guys. Elon Musk's brother met his current wife at a Jeff party? What? Have y'all heard that? This is new to me. Oh, we're going to have fun with this one. It says, allegedly, the internal turmoil surrounding these indiscretions is causing major strife between key players in his inner circle. Elon is not an evil man, she assured me, but he is involved in some things that, if exposed, could ruin his ties with top investors. I'm sorry, I'm not going to agree with that. Because the top investors, I would assume, do 100 times worse than Elon. Or they're connected to it. Either they do it or they're connected to it in some kind of way, or take money from it to where they are beholden to it. So, unless it's really bad. But then again, I think what we think of really bad is probably what these people are dabbling in. She suggested that many close to him are aware of the liability he's become, so they are getting ahead of the situation by gradually distancing themselves before things come to light. The phone call was vague and the information was veiled by coded phrasing, but still validating, as many of the revelations she hinted at have already started to crack. She was one that tipped me off about Errol, Elon's father, being in a romantic relationship with his stepdaughter, and news of her second I'm sorry, that's not aimed at her. I'm not trying to be mean to the girl. Mad at the P word. That's disgusting. That's just, so you were grooming her since she was 4 years old. That's grooming, guys. And I know, because it happened to me. Now, luckily, it never went that far. But I had somebody in my family line at the age of 8 that started grooming me. But, I'm the a-hole for bringing it up. That's how it works. But that's how it works when you're a victim. That's why I've talked about you have to be perfect. And it puts a target on your back. Sucks, but it is what it is. And news about her second pregnancy, months before it would become public knowledge. She described Errol as a useless drunk that none of the Musk children respect, but had nothing but praise for May, Elon's mother, who is apparently not impressed by some of his recent decisions or her taste in women. Two other sources mentioned this to me, that May is not a fan of Grimes, but also stated for the record that Grimes is very sweet, polite, timid, and kind. She says, I don't know why she puts on that whole angry alien thing she's got going on. She's just a nice, regular girl when you meet her. It takes a lot of effort to commit to that vibe. Well, that's the thing. Like, people are multifaceted and multidimensional, right? Like, you meet me, and when people meet me, they think I'm really sweet and really charming and really fun, and I am, right? But at the same time, like I said, I have a huge passion for trying to get aliens back to the planet. It doesn't necessarily make me bad or good. And her whole angry alien thing, that could just be what she's into. That's what drives her, right? Is what, an emotional extraterrestrial? I can dig that vibe. That's just another side to her. She could also be sweet and timid and polite and all of those things, right? It's always funny to me when like people do this to me. People like to put me in boxes of what they want me to be or what they think I should be because of what they want from me. When I step outside of that, they get upset. So I don't really dig that, but let's keep going. It says, it should be noted that both sources also mentioned she had extremely greasy hair, but insisted that it's only because she prefers it that way. Maybe the reason for May's lingering contempt. Well, that's another thing. Somebody like Grimes, and there's a lot of people in my generation, the younger generations, where we look at health and hygiene differently. Now, I'm not one of these people, but I'm just explaining that, well, I am to an extent, actually, but like, I take shower every day, right? In fact, sometimes I have to take two because of my health routine. Because I'm like with the hour-long hike that I do every single day out in the 100-degree weather, and then the now up to 2 hours of sweating in an Epsom salt bath. I want to make sure I keep up with my hygiene, so I do. But in saying that, a lot of people don't wash their hair with shampoo. Some people don't wash it, period, because of all the chemicals, because of all the nasty things that can be in shampoos, and they feel this is a more natural route to go. Doesn't necessarily mean that and granted, she's not putting her down, but she said she has greasy hair. That can kind of sound like a put down, but at the same time, your body's going to create natural oils, so that's just the literal meaning, depending on how you look at it. I'm not saying Jessica's intending it as a put down, but she's saying that maybe May was turned off by that, which I can understand. I think something that the older generations don't understand about my generation, and I say this with love, I'm not saying this as an attack, right? Hi boomers, hi, and greatest generationers, hi, because I have a lot of y'all that watch me, is that you guys were a generation that, like the boomers, you guys were introduced to chemicals in your teens and kind of younger-ish ages, right? My generation was one of the first generations where it was in utero. Our embryos, our DNA came with this stuff, and we have a lot of chronic health conditions and things that we fight with our health because of that. So a lot of us, even me, we go to extreme measures to protect that. And some people, they aren't going to have what we think of as good hygiene. Or like in my case, literally 8 hours of my day is most of my day is my health routine. Guys, I get up, I meditate, I get myself cute. This takes 5 minutes, even though my hair's a mess right now because it's still growing out. It only takes me like 5 minutes. Put on a dress, I film for an hour, maybe an hour and a half depending, and the rest of my day is all health stuff. All of it. Now, granted, I'm getting so much better, so it's wonderful, and it won't always be that way. But, that's extreme, and most people would be turned off by that. The amount of time I have to spend in my bathroom, guys, I spend a good 4 hours in my bathroom every day. Every day. Not super fun. One day, I'm going to do I'll do a video, I'll do a vlog of this is what my health routine is like. You will hate it. But it's okay, because I meditate the whole time. I'm happy. Anyways, let's keep going. So it says, for fun, I rounded up a few examples of my favorite Elon fumbles. The Epstein connection. We're going to get a little bit into this one because I'm going to do a deep dive. And it says, Elon has long denied that he ever met or knew or accepted advice or money from Epstein, but evidence suggests otherwise. There is plenty of documentation on the two at the same event multiple times throughout the years. And it's well known that Kimball, Elon's brother, was introduced to a girlfriend by Epstein, which we know is more likely Ghislaine. Wait a minute. As my rest in peace grandma would say, hold the phone. She would say, all right, everybody hold the phone. So Kimball dated Ghislaine? Or are they saying that Ghislaine introduced to a girlfriend by Epstein? Well, this says by Epstein. So did the Musk family actually date somebody within the Epsteins? And then it says trending. Jeffrey Epstein set Elon Musk's brother up with a girlfriend in an effort to get close to the Tesla founder, sources. And I have some exploring to do. I'm going to look way more into this. So guys, I think
I'm going to end this video now and I'm going to go do some research and come back. But I did want to put out there, it looks like the embryos are absolutely correct, at least from what Jessica says. And we know typically when Jessica makes an article, give it a few days, give it a few hours, and more information comes out and evidence that proves her correct, or at least that's what has been happening. Wow. There's a lot, guys. There is a lot going on here. So what do you think? First of all, what do you think about this Jeff connection? We're going to dive into that, so wait for that video. And by the way, I've had several videos on that, so make sure and go look in the cards. You can see that. And guys, what do you think of the embryos being true? I love it. Jessica, never stop writing. Keep going, girl. You got a fan here. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure and give me a like, leave me a comment, everything helps. And if you're new here, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Love to have you. Me and my ill-fitting dress are gonna go do some research. So round 2 is coming, stay tuned. You know I love you guys so much. You have my heart, and I'm just always so grateful. Me and my dress that won't fit. I'm like, why even pull it up if nothing works? I love you guys, and thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for putting up with my ill-fitting dresses as I figure out what I'm doing. Thank you for being compassionate with my health. And you guys, every day, I'm so grateful for all of you. That's all I can say. I'm so grateful. I also want to throw this out there, and I'll probably put this in a couple other videos. What would you guys think if I did a daily live stream and y'all could actually come hang out and interact with me? I'm thinking about doing an actual podcast. I know, I used to be really good at it. I was one of the #1 streamers on this platform called YouNow. I'm just kind of scared of streaming. Haven't done it in a while. But you could just literally come and hang out with me for an hour, hour and a half every day. What do you think? I could do that and just get all my info out in the videos. Or just do that in lieu of videos. Let me know. All right, guys, I think that's it for me here. Take care, lots of love, lots of blessings. And as always, I'm giving everybody hugs. Kisses, stay safe, make sure your dresses fit, or don't. Do what you want to do. It is your body and your life. And I'll see you soon. Okay, bye, guys.